I've been spending time with somebody recently. She lives in New Zealand, and when we're together, as you're probably aware, when you're with your family, you don't even think about those things. You know, you're just so deeply present and connected. But that isn't the case for a lot of people. You know, and I feel like if you don't have that level of like authority over putting a social relationship before a screen, then you almost like have to remove the screen. You have to take the poison away, right? To experience what it is. You know, go on a camping trip for a weekend. You'll know what it's like to live in nature and be, you know, nourished by nature, as opposed to being so controlled by these technology devices. But, you know, the longer I've been in Austin, the more podcasts and conversation I've had, like the more I've realized everywhere in the Western world just how divisive big tech is. And I think the thing that really inspired me when it came to the kids, and this, like, let's gamify this, right? I love this idea. So you stay up all night, you play some video games, or you watch porn, or you doom scroll on the internet, you do whatever, right? You suck the dopamine and drive out yourself, and you wake up in the morning and like, if we're talking about like the character of the video game stats, your motivation's down like 20%, your metabolism's down like 50%, your cravings are up 50%, your creativity's like next to nothing. And it's like, if that is the state in which many people are walking around, I was there like, what like small levers can make big changes? And so when I went into the schools, and we were there like, let's just start with giving these kids some like nighttime blue light blocking glasses. Let's just tell them to touch grass. That's like a big meme in the gaming community.
It's funny. It's become like a little insult, and it's like, yeah, no, go touch grass.
It's like, seriously. And you know what, some of the gamers and stuff and the content creators that I respect the most are the ones who are there like, no, seriously, like I don't spend all day inside doing this. And I was there like, you know, what if, you know, theoretically we put a pair of glasses on these kids' faces and, you know, their melatonin obviously increases, they wind down, you know, stress hormones, better sleep. But then the next day, like, you know, that motivation score's gone up 30%.
Yeah, right.
And like the metabolism's gone up 30%. And, you know, all of a sudden, like they find it easier to eat better foods and to move more and to not feel so addicted to screens. And so I kind of saw that, you know, blue light blocking glasses, I mean, they're not a panacea. Like they're a low-hanging fruit, a band-aid for a problem that we have systemically within society around light and technology and things like that. But it was really, really interesting to me, and I still like float that idea every day of like, you know, how can one small change like completely change the trajectory of a child or an adult, you know, who's facing challenges with screens, technology and things like that.
Yeah, I think a lot about momentum. I think a lot of this, the whole game of life is momentum. And sometimes you just need like that one thing that gets you a little bit more momentum, a little more XP points on your character, you know, like, and if you can always, it's really cool with kids too, because you can try to actually gamify it and make it fun, right? Like call them your superhero glasses or whatever and say, these are going to give you more powers tomorrow. And they're like, hell yeah, I'm putting these on, you know? Whereas adults, you know, maybe they need a bit more science and the biology behind it. But either way, like whatever gets you more momentum so that you're coming into the next day a little more energy generative, as opposed to operating from such a deficit. That's because I think that's the crux of what's going on here. Most people, I think, are if they were very honest with themselves, are not happy with where they're at, either in life, with their health, with the quality of the relationship, insert whatever thing that is a priority for them. They're probably like, it could be better. But they don't have the energy to make it better because they're operating from such a deficit. And I think if we can start to, we've got to have this whole holistic suite of tools, whether it's nutrient deficient because they haven't eaten nose to tail ever, and they're, you know, omega-6 dominant because they've guzzle seed oils for the rest of their life, or they've been on screens for 7 hours a day, and like the 95% of humans that spend 95% of the time indoors are completely disconnected. We've just got to like keep throwing these little hooks out to try and get them on the hook for something. All right, friends, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Radical Health Radio. We got a fresh new podcast for you every Wednesday. If you enjoyed the show, consider liking, subscribing, reviewing, and rating us on your podcast platform. It helps to spread this message of radical health. We'll see you next week.